Okay, so this is your subject, automatic control. And in this lecture one, we will discuss about some fundamentals of automatic control. What are different types of automatic control? And what are the basic mathematical operations in order to apply control theory on different control systems. So first of all, it is important to understand what is automatic control. I'm not going in detail about the definition. I'm just giving a simple definition of automatic control. For more details, you should refer to the book written by Ogata. And I'll use that book throughout these lectures. I will refer that book. So I suggest you to purchase that book, or you can obtain it from the library. So basically, automatic control is the application of control theory. Okay. So basically, this automatic control is an application of control theory. Control theory means we have a set of rules, set of mathematical laws to analyze, to determine, to evaluate different processes, plants, systems. Okay. So using that control theory, you can develop some automatic control systems for different processes. So automatic control is the application of control theory for regulation, okay, for regulation of processes, plants, systems without direct human intervention. So basically, control system, in automatic control systems, we reduce this human intervention. Okay. Or we can say direct human intervention. Of course, there will be some human intervention who will be developing that control system and all, but there will not be any direct human intervention. Automatically, it will regulate a process. Fine. So in today's lecture, in this introductory lecture, we will discuss some examples of automatic control, then types of control systems, and introduction to Laplace transform, which is basic for the control theory. Okay, so control theory is related to your Laplace transformation. Okay, and this control theory is applied to the automatic control. Okay, so first understand one example of automatic control like this. This is Watt's governor, and it is used for the speed control of an engine. So in this system, we want to control speed of this engine. We have this gear arrangement here, and gear arrangement here, and the gear arrangement here. In order to connect these shafts at 90 degree, okay, we have this certain type of gear arrangement. And due to rotation of engine RPMs here, this is the rotation of engine RPM, engine shaft, and there will be rotation of this shaft, vertical shaft. Okay. Due to the rotation of this shaft, there will be centripetal force on this governor. This is our governor. Okay. So it will be rotating at a certain speed. But if I want to regulate speed of this engine, because maybe due to change in load, speed can vary. Sometimes it is more than the desired speed, and sometimes it is less than the desired speed. Okay, the moment the engine speed is more with respect to the reference speed, it is more, then there will be more centripetal force on this governor, and due to more speed, this governor will move upward, and due to this upward motion, this valve will also move upward. Okay, this valve will also move upward because oil will enter from this side. Okay, and there will be upward motion, and in the upward motion, this valve closes. This valve closes. When this valve, control valve, is closed, the fuel supply will stop. The fuel supply will stop, and the engine speed will come to the desired reference speed. Okay, this is the whole process. So who did it? Nobody, but this speed control is done automatically due to this control system arrangement. The case when this engine speed is lower than the desired reference speed, the rotation of this governor will reduce. Okay, the rotational speed will reduce. Due to that, this will move downward. Okay, and in that case, this valve will also move downward, and in the downward position, this valve will open, and there will be fuel supply. And due to the more fuel supply, engine speed will be increased, and it will come to the desired speed. So this fuel supply will be regulated more and less according to the engine speed, and the engine will maintain a desired speed using this automatic control system. And why there will be a variation in the engine speed? Due to the change in load. Okay, due to the change in load in the engine. So this is a good example of a automatic control system. And have another example of automatic control system, that is temperature control of a passenger compartment of a car. So I want to maintain a certain temperature inside the passenger compartment. Okay, to maintain that passenger compartment temperature, we have heater or maybe an air conditioner. Okay, so who will control the switch on and off for this heater or for this air conditioner? Who will decide? The controller. How this controller works? This controller takes feedback actually. So there is a sensor which measures the temperature of this compartment. Okay, and it compares this temperature with the desired temperature. Say I want the desired temperature 25 degrees C. Okay, 25 degree C. But when it is measured from the sensor, it is found that temperature is 35. So based on this difference, say difference of 10 degree. Okay, difference of 10 degree, controller will decide whether to switch on or switch off the air conditioner or heater, isn't it? So since the temperature is high and it want to reduce the temperature, it will switch off heater if this car is having a heater, or it will switch on the air conditioner if this car is having an air conditioner, in order to maintain the desired 25 degrees C temperature. And why this variation is there? If I am asking why it is changing the temperature 35 degree when I set it to 25, yes, there are some disturbances due to the outside temperature. There is sun also. So things, these things are called disturbances to the system. Okay, if it is a heavy sunny day, then temperature will be more, and it will affect the temperature of compartment. Okay, due to that, this variation comes into picture. So here the role of controller comes into picture, which maintains the desired temperature, okay, by switch on and off the device. It can be a heater or a conditioner, air conditioner. Okay, so this is also a good example of an automatic control system where no human intervention, automatically it maintains the temperature system itself. Types of control systems. We have mainly two types of control systems: open loop control system and the closed loop control system. Closed loop control systems are basically feedback control system where you have a feedback. Okay, those feedback systems are called closed loop control systems. Okay. Now let's understand first open loop system. Open loop systems do not correct for disturbances and are simply commanded by the input. Let's understand this concept using some examples. For example, washing machine in your house. It is a good example of open loop system because whatever output you are getting, that is not measured, that is not compared, you just get the output. How it works? You put clothes in the washing machine and it runs for a certain period of time in order to wash, rinse, or soaking of clothes for a certain period of time. It doesn't take any feedback whether the clothes are clean or not. It is not concerned about that. It just runs the machine for a certain period of time without taking the feedback whether clothes are clean or not. Simply, for the toasters also, you put bread inside the toaster, okay, and after some time you take it out. Okay, so there is no feedback whether the toaster is ready to eat or it may be brownish color or black color after some time. Okay, similarly, traffic signal, it is also time based signal. It doesn't consider whether the traffic is more on a certain road or less on a certain road. It just switch on green light for a road for some time. Okay, the traffic can move for the 30 second, it is green for one road, for another 30 second it is green for another road, but maybe the first road is having less traffic, it should be opened for less time. So it doesn't take feedback of traffic, which is more congested road. It just switch on green light for a certain period of time for a particular road. Okay, so such type of systems are called open loop system where there is no feedback, where you do not measure the output of the system. So here you can say this is a block diagram of an open loop system. You give some input or reference value, okay, and that there is some transducers, okay, which converts this reference value in a readable form for the controller. Controller take that reference value and generate a signal for the operation of to give input to your process or plant. Okay, and you get the output here, but you do not measure what is the output, whether you are getting the correct output, whatever you are interesting. Okay, what type of output you want, it doesn't measure that. It just you give input, controller generate a control signal according to that given input, and it gives you output. Okay, and there may be disturbances. There may be many disturbances to the process. Like disturbances, I must say, if you have more traffic on one road, it is also a disturbance. Okay, or maybe the your motor washing machine motor is not working properly, that is a disturbance. You need more time to wash your clothes, but you didn't consider that. Okay, so this is the working phenomena for the open loop control system. So what is the problem with automatic control system? You need accurate model of the process of the plant. You should know very well how the plant is working. Means you know about the disturbances which are going to affect the system in advance. Okay, which is very difficult to know. And disturbance you cannot measure. So these are some problems with open loop control, because you don't know, you never know how the disturbance is gonna affect your system. So you will not get the desired output, whatever you were wanting. So this is a way of representation in the S domain in mathematical form. Like control system is represented by CS. We will discuss about what is this S. It is a complex variable. Okay, the process or plant is represented by GS. This is your controlled signal which is applied to your plant. You get here output, and this is your reference input. We will discuss when we will study the control theory. Now come to the closed loop system. So closed loop systems then have obvious advantage or greater accuracy than open loop system. Okay, they are less sensitive to noise and disturbances. This is the important thing, because if there are disturbances here in the system, it will affect the process or plant. But here they are less sensitive to these disturbances. Okay, disturbances are there, but still process and plant will not be much affected in this closed loop system. An example of closed loop systems are like air conditioner. It is a good example of closed loop control system. It maintains the temperature inside a room. Whether there is some disturbance, maybe it is very hot sunny day, or it may be winter day, it will maintain a certain temperature inside the room without any human intervention. Automatically it will sense. Okay, for example, if this air conditioner is your process or plant, this is your air conditioner, and there is a sensor, temperature sensor, which will measure the temperature, and this temperature will be compared with the reference temperature, whatever you want, 25 degree or 20 degree, and the actual temperature. And here you will be having an error signal. Okay, if this is original temperature is 35 degree, and but you are interested to keep your temperature in the room 25 degree, so it will generate an error signal, which is basically difference between these two, and it will be -10 here. Okay, -10, because this reference is positive and the actual is negative, then this difference is -10. It will go to controller, this difference, and according to this error signal of 10, controller will decide whether we have to switch on the air conditioner or switch off the air conditioner in order to maintain this desired temperature. So there is a feedback which we didn't found in the open loop. In open loop, if you look, we don't have any feedback. Okay, we do not compare this output. We do not compare this output with the reference input. This is my reference input. Okay, but here we compare this output. We compare this output with the desired input. Okay, so this is your closed loop control. So open loop versus closed loop control, this you can see here. So in mathematical form, we add this another block HS, which represents the feedback loop. This is your feedback loop. This is extra thing in the closed loop control, because in feedback control we can imagine that the controller will keep on taking corrective action until the error is reduced to 0. Okay, so it will keep on correcting the error until it goes to 0. Okay, 0 means if I am interested in 25 degree, until this 35 becomes 25, until this 35 becomes 35, it it will keep on correcting the signal. Okay, means this error, which is -10 now, it should be 0. This error should be 0, means 25 minus 25. Okay, then it will be 0 error. Okay, output of the controller is a function of error. Okay, so this controller, how this controller gives command to the process based on this error signal. Until it is 0, it will keep on switch on and off to the process of plant. So it is worthwhile to summarize the advantage and disadvantage of using open loop control system. Okay, so if you are using an open loop control system, these are the advantages. First, it is simple in construction and easy to maintenance because there is no feedback. You don't need any sensors, and maintenance is easy, and it is cheaper also. Okay, means it is less expensive than the closed loop control system. And there is also no stability problem, because in case of closed loop control, you are using a feedback loop, and if there are disturbances, those disturbances will be compensated by the feedback loop, and the system may be vibrating in nature. So stability is not confirmed in case of closed loop. So stability is not a problem when you are using open loop control. So convenient output is hard to measure, or measuring the output precisely is economical, not feasible. Okay, we face some situations where we cannot measure the output value. In that case, you have to use only the open loop control. For example, in a washer system, you cannot measure the quality of washer output. Okay, if you are having a device, you are having a system which is automatically washing the dishes, so it is very difficult to find a sensor or device which can measure the level of cleanliness, how much clean your dish is there. Okay, or level of cleanliness of the clothes. It is very difficult to find a sensor like that. In that case, we use open loop control system. And major disadvantages of open loop control systems are disturbances and changes in calibrations cause errors, and the output may be different from what is desired. Okay, so the major disadvantage is that you will not have a good control. Okay, whatever your desired input, you may not be received the desire that value at the output of the system. Okay, because there is no feedback, and to maintain the required quality in the output, recalibration is necessary from time to time. In open loop systems, again and again you have to calibrate your device. Okay, because there is no feedback, so you cannot rely much on the open loop control system. But they are less expensive, they are simple, they are easy to maintain. So that's why it is always suggested that we have to use a combination of open loop and closed loop systems in order to control a complete process. Wherever it's possible, use open loop control. Wherever the system is very crucial, we suggest to use closed loop control. Okay. Now, third point, we talk about the automatic control. We talked about the types of control system, open loop and closed loop. Now, we will start with some concepts, theoretical concepts of control theory. Okay, control theory, which is basically some mathematics related to automatic control systems. Because, as I told you, automatic control is an application of control theory. Okay, automatic control is an application of control theory. Okay, so here we will talk about some theory of control. Okay, theory of control. So before starting, it is important you should brush up your mathematical concepts you have studied already. So here we will talk about the Laplace transform. Okay, in mathematics you have heard about this term Laplace transform. So many useful techniques depends on the Laplace transform. So Laplace transform of a function ft is defined as follows. If you are having a time function ft, so Laplace transform of that function ft, Laplace transform of that function ft is given by this mathematical expression where you have integration from 0 to infinity and exponential of minus s into t. T is time because we are dealing in the time domain. So s into t, f into t. Ft is your function. Okay, so you multiply your function with a exponential function e raised to the power minus st. E raised to the power minus st is multiplied with your given function. Okay, and it is integrated for the limit 0 to infinity. So what is this s? This s which we have introduced in the function is a complex variable, and you know a complex variable always have two parts, real part and imaginary part. Okay, so this is your j which represent the imaginary function. So this sigma is real part and omega is imaginary part. Okay, so use of Laplace transform is well accepted in control theory for different analysis. So control theory is in control theory we oftenly or normally or generally we use this Laplace transform. Okay, very often we use the Laplace transform. So Laplace transform method can be used for solving linear differential equations. What are the benefits? Why we are using Laplace transform? Because simply we can solve the linear differential equations. And by use of Laplace transform, we can convert many common functions like sinusoidal, exponential function into simple algebraic function. Okay, into simple algebraic functions of a complex variable s. Of course, if you are dealing with Laplace transform, this complex variable will be there. And operations such as differential and integration can be replaced by the algebraic operations in complex plane. Okay, so in fact, it makes calculation easier when you use Laplace transform. Okay,